The Bacchae by Euripides. Characters: Dionysus, Tiresias, Cadmus, Pentheus, a servant, a messenger, Agave, and a chorus of Lydian women. The action is set before the facade of the royal palace at Thebes. On the stage is a vine-clad tomb from which smoke rises. Dionysus enters. I am the son of Zeus, Dionysus. Semele, the daughter of Cadmus, bore me once in a birth precipitated by the lightning flame. I have transformed my appearance from god to man and come to this Theban land. And here I am at the streams of Dirce and the waters of the isthmus. I can see near the palace this memorial of my lightning-struck mother and the ruins of her house smoldering with the still living flame of the fire of Zeus, an undying symbol of Hera's outrageous violence against my mother. And I praise Cadmus, who has forbidden men to tread on this ground, my mother's precinct, which I have hidden with a covering of the vine's grape-clustered greenery. I have left the gold-rich lands of the Lydians and the Phrygians and traveled to the sun-scorched uplands of the Persians, to walled Bactra, to the Medes' wintry terrain, to wealthy Arabia, and the whole tract of Asia which lies by the briny sea, which is with its fair-towered cities full of Greeks and barbarians mixed together. I came to this city before all others in Greece, when I had set Asia dancing and established my mysteries there, so that I should be a man manifest to mortals. Thebes here is the first city of the land of Greeks that I have roused to Bacchic rites, fastening a fawn skin around their bodies and placing a thyrus, my ivy-clad weapon, in their hands. For my mother's sisters, the last who should have done so, denied that I, Dionysus, was the son of Zeus, but said that Semele had been seduced by some mortal, and used Zeus as a cover for her sexual transgression. This, they claim, was Cadmus's clever idea, and they gloatingly spread the story that her lies about her marriage were the reason that Zeus killed her. So that is why I have driven those same women from their homes in a mad frenzy, and they live on the mountain in a state of violent delusion. I have forced them to wear the trappings of my rites, and all the females among the Thebans, all the women, I have sent maddened from their houses. Mixing with the daughters of Cadmus, they sit together beneath the green firs on the roofless rocks. For this city must learn to the full, even if it does not wish to, that it is still uninitiated in my bacchanals, and I must speak on my mother Semele's behalf by appearing to mortals as a god whom Zeus begot. So then, Cadmus has given the kingship and its honor to Pentheus, his daughter's son, who fights against the deity in my person, pushes me from my libations, and makes mention of me nowhere in his prayers. To pay him back for that, I shall show to him and all the Thebans that I am a god. After I have set things to rights here, I shall move on to another land and reveal my godhead there. But if the Theban city tries in its rage to take the Bacchae from the mountain, I shall lead my army of Maenads and join battle. It is for this reason that I have changed to this mortal form and transformed my appearance to human shape. But you who have left Mount Tmolus, Lydia's defense, my company, you women whom I have brought from the barbarians to consort with me as we travel together, lift the drums which come from their home in a Phrygian city, the invention of Mother Rhea and myself, here to this royal palace of Pentheus, and sound them so that the city of Cadmus may come and see. Meanwhile I shall go to the glens of Cytherion, where my Bacchae are, and I shall join in their dances. Dionysus exits. The chorus of Dionysus' followers enter. From the land of Asia, leaving behind sacred Tmolus, I speed in Bromius' delightful labor. In my weariness that is no weariness, crying in joy to the Bacchic god, who is on the street, who is indoors? Let him come outside, and let all hush their voices to reverence, for I shall always celebrate Dionysus by singing the customary songs. Oh, happy the man who, blessed with the knowledge of the mysteries of the gods, lives a pure life and initiates his soul in the Bacchic company, as he celebrates the gods in the mountains and holy rituals of purity, observes the mysteries of the great mother Cybele, and, swinging the thyrsus high, and garlanded with ivy, does service to Dionysus. Oh, on Bacchae, bringing home the god Bromius, son of a god, Dionysus, from the Phrygian mountains to the streets of Greece, wide for the dance, Bromius. While his mother carried him in her womb, the lightning of Zeus took its winged flight, and in the forced labor of childbirth she bore him prematurely, leaving her life with the blast of a thunderbolt. At once Zeus, son of Cronus, received him in his thigh, the secret recesses of birth, and covering him up there, closed it together with golden pins to keep him hidden from Hera. And he gave him birth when the fates brought completion, and the bull horned, and he garlanded him with garlands of snakes, the reason why the Maeonids wreathe their locks with those beast-born prey. O Thebes, nurse of Semele, garland yourself with ivy, be abundant with green, berry-rich Brunei, and consecrate yourself in Bacchus's worship, with branches of oak or fir, decking your dress of dappled fawnskins with white herald curls of braided wool. Be reverent as you handle the violent fennel rods. At once all the land will dance wherever Bromius leads the companies to the mountain where waits the horde of women. O secret chamber of the Corites, and all sacred haunts of Crete, where Zeus was born, where the triple-breasted Corybants invented this circle of stretched hide in the cave for me, and in the intense rites they mingled its noise with the sweetly calling breath of Phrygian pipes, and placed it in the hand of Mother Rhea to beat time for the Bacchae's shouts of joy. And the maddened satyrs borrowed it from the mother goddess and added it to the dances of the biennial festivals in which Dionysus rejoices. He is welcome in the mountains when he falls to the ground from the running companies, dressed in the holy fawnskin, in the hunt for the blood of the killed goat, for the joy of eating raw flesh as he hurries to the mountains of Phrygia and Lydia, Bromius leading the way. The soil flows with milk, it flows with wine, it flows with the nectar of bees. The Bacchic god, holding on high the blazing flame of the torch pine, like the smoke of Syrian frankincense, lets it stream from his wand as he spurs on the stragglers while they run and dance, and rouses them with his joyous cries, flinging his delicate locks in the air. And amid the Bacchic shouts of joy he roars forth these words, on Bacchae, glittering pride of Tmolus, its river awash with gold, celebrate Dionysus in your song, to the beat of the loud roaring drums. With joyful shouts glorify the god of joyful shouting, with Phrygian cries and calls, when the tuneful sacred pipe peals forth its sacred merriment, in harmony with your wild journeying to the mountain. Happily then, like a foal beside its grazing mother, the Bacchant skips with quick feet as she runs. Enter Tiresias, dressed like a Maeoniid, in a fawnskin with a garland and a thyrsus. Who is at the gate? Call Cadmus out of the palace, Agnor's son, who left the city of Sidon and built these towering walls of Thebes. Will someone go and tell him that Tiresias is looking for him? He himself knows what I have come about and what I agreed with him, an old man in consultation with one still older. We are to make thyrsi and to wear fawnskins and to garland our heads with shoots of ivy. Cadmus comes out of the palace, dressed like Tiresias. O my dearest friend, I have come out of the house because I recognized your voice, the wise voice of a wise man, when I heard it from inside. I have come all prepared with this, the god's gear, for he, my daughter's son, must be magnified by us as far as we are able. Where must we go from here to set our feet for the dance and shake our gray heads? You must explain this to me, Tiresias, as one old man to another, for you are wise, and I shall never grow tired of striking the ground with my thyrsus all day and all night. How delightful it is to have forgotten that we are old. I see that you feel in the same state as I do, for I am young too and shall join in the dance. Shall we go to the mountain in a carriage? If we do that, the god will not have the same honor. Shall I take you there, one old man leading another like a schoolboy? No, the god will lead us there without effort. Are we the only men in the city who will dance to Bacchus? Yes, for we alone show good sense. All the others are fools. We are delaying here too long. Take hold of my hand. There, take my hand in yours and make them a pair. I am a mortal. I do not look down on the gods. In the eyes of the gods, we mortals have no wisdom. The traditions which we have received from our fathers as old as time, no argument shall throw them down. Whatever wisdom is invented by high intelligence. Will anyone say that I have no respect for old age as I go off to dance, my hair garlanded with ivy? No, for the god has made no distinction between the young and the older. All should dance. He wishes to take honor from everyone alike. In his desire to be magnified, he discounts no one. Since you, Tiresias, cannot see this light of day, I shall become an interpreter for you in words. Look, here comes Pentheus, Echion's son, to whom I gave the rule of the land. He is coming towards the house in haste. How excited he is. What fresh news will he bring, I wonder? Enter Pentheus with his guards. I happened to be away from this land when I heard of this disturbing misfortune which has fallen on our city. Our women have left their homes and fabricated rites of Bacchus. They dart about in shady mountains, honoring the parvenu god Dionysus, whoever he is, and with their dances they set up full mixing bowls in the middle of their companies, and they slink off one by one to lonely spots to serve the lust of males, their pretense being that they are maenads sacrificing, while in reality they put Aphrodite before Bacchus. All those I have caught, my servant guards with their hands tied in the public jail. All who are not there I shall hunt down from the mountain, Ino and Agave, who bore me to Echion, and the mother of Esiton, Autonoe. I shall fasten them in iron snares and put a quick stop to these pernicious Bacchic rites. And they say that some foreigner, some wizard sorcerer, has come here from the land of Lydia, his fragrant hair falling in golden locks, his complexion wine-colored. He has the charms of Aphrodite in his eyes, and keeps company day and night with young girls, dangling before them his Bacchic mysteries. If I catch him within the boundaries of this land, I shall stop him making his thyrsus ring and throwing back his hair, by cutting his head from his body. That is the man who says that Dionysus is a god. It's that man who claims that Dionysus was once sewn up in Zeus's thigh. In fact, he was destroyed by the fire of the thunderbolt with his mother because she lied about a marriage with Zeus. This terrible ordeal, does it not deserve the noose? To commit such arrogant impiety, whoever the stranger may be? Pentheus sees Cadmus and Tiresias. But here is another marvel. I see the wonder-watcher Tiresias in a dappled fawn skin, and my mother's father, what a laugh, worshipping Bacchus with a fennel rod. I am shocked, father, to see old men divorced from good sense. Won't you shake off your ivy? Won't you set your hand free from the thyrsus, father of my mother? It was you, Tiresias, who persuaded him to do this. You want to introduce this extra god to men as a novelty, and so watch your birds and reap the rewards burnt from offerings. If your gray-haired old age did not protect you, you would be sitting in chains in the middle of the Bacchae for importing these wicked rites. For when the liquid gleam of the grape cluster shines for women at the feast, I say that there is no longer anything healthy in their rites. What impiety! Stranger, do you not respect the gods and Cadmus who sowed the earth-born crop of men? You are Echion's son. Will you dishonor your family? When a wise man starts arguing from a just basis, it is no great task for him to speak well. But while you have a ready flow of words as if you spoke sensibly, there is no sound thought in what you say. The capable speaker whose influence is based on self-assurance is a bad citizen. He lacks good sense. This new god whom you make fun of, I could not tell you how great he will be throughout Greece. For young man, there are two fundamental elements among mankind. The goddess Demeter, she is earth, call her whichever of those names you will. She nurtures men with dry food. And the god who came next, the son of Semele, invented, to balance Demeter's gifts, the liquid drink of the grape and introduced it to men, the drink which puts an end to sorrow for wretched mortals when they are filled with the juice of the vine, and gives sleep to bring forgetfulness of their daily round of cares. There is no other cure for our toils. He, a god himself, is poured in libations to gods, and thus it is through him that men have their blessings. Do you mock him because he was sewn up in the thigh of Zeus? I shall explain to you what a fine thing this is. When Zeus snatched him from the fire of the thunderbolt and took his new child up to Olympus, Hera wanted to throw it out of heaven. Zeus took the sort of countermeasure you would expect from a god. He broke off a portion of the air of heaven which surrounds the earth and gave this to Hera as a hostage, getting Dionysus out of the way of her jealous rage. And after a time mortals came to say that he was sewn in the thigh of Zeus, changing the name because, god though he is, he was once a hostage to a goddess, and thus making a new story. This god is a prophet, for mad Bacchic possession brings considerable prophetic skill. When the god comes upon the body in his might, he makes those who maddens tell the future, and he has taken a share in the war god's sphere. For when an army stands armed in its ranks, terror can make it scatter before it touches a spear. This too is a madness from Dionysus. One day you will see him by the rocks at Delphi, leaping with his pine torches over the upland between the two peaks, shaking and brandishing his Bacchic staff, great throughout Greece. But Pentheus, listen to me. Do not be so oversure that power rules in human affairs, and do not persuade yourself that you are right if you think something but your thought is sick. No, receive the god into your land, pour libations to Bacchus, worship him and garland your head. It is not for Dionysus to force women to be chaste, but chastely depends on their nature. You must look at all the facts. The chaste woman will not be corrupted even amid the Bacchic rites. Do you see? You rejoice when the people stand at the gates and the city magnifies the name of Pentheus. He too, I think, delights in being honored. And so I and Cadmus, whom you mock, will crown ourselves with ivy and dance. A gray-haired duo we may be, but still we must dance. And I shall not be persuaded by your words and fight with the gods, for you are mad, most cruelly mad. You cannot cure your sickness either with drugs or without them. Old man, you bring no disgrace on Phoebus in what you have said, and you show wisdom in honoring Bromius, a great god. My son Tiresias has given you good advice. Dwell with us, not beyond the boundary of the laws, for now you are up in the air and your thinking is folly. Even if, as you say, this Dionysus is not a god, he should still be called one by you, and you should tell a lie for credit's sake and claim that he is Semele's son. Thus it will appear that she has given birth to a god, and honor will accrue to all your family. You have seen the lamentable fate of Essiton, torn to pieces by the flesh-eating dogs which he had reared because he had boasted in the mountain glades that he was better at hunting than Artemis. Do not suffer the same fate. Come over here, let me crown your head with ivy. Pay honor to the god with us. Keep your hands off me. Off with you to your Bacchic rites. Do not wipe your foolishness off on me. But I shall punish this fellow who has taught you your folly. Go, someone, as quickly as possible, and when you come to the seat of this man where he observes his birds, prise it up with levers and turn it upside down. Pile everything all together in a confused mass and throw his wool ribbons to the winds and storms. By doing that I shall hurt him most. And let others comb the city and track down the foreigner who looks like a girl and is bringing this new infection on our women and corrupting their beds. If you catch him, bring him here in chains so that he can meet his punishment of death by stoning and find his Bacchic rites in Thebes turning to ashes. Oh, you stubborn man, you do not know what you are saying. Before this you were out of your mind. Now you are altogether mad. Let us go, Cadmus, and let us beg the god on behalf of this man, savage though he is, and of our city, not to do anything drastic. Come with me, your ivy staff, and try to support my body as I shall yours. For it would be a shameful thing if two old men fell down. Still, let come what may. Men must be slaves to the Bacchic god, the son of Zeus. Be careful that Pentheus does not bring sorrow in your house, Cadmus. I base what I say not on my prophetic skill, simply on the facts, for the words of a fool are folly. Tiresias and Cadmus go out together. Pentheus goes into the palace. The chorus sings, Purity, queen of the gods, purity flying over the earth on your golden wing, do you hear these words of Pentheus? Do you hear this impure blasphemy against Bromius, the son of Semele, the god who is first of the blessed ones at the fair garland festivities. He is the god whose sphere it is to bring men together in the dances, to laugh to the pipe's music, and put an end to cares. Whenever the gleam of the grapes cluster glints at the god's feast, and mixing bowls cast sleep over males, amid the ivy-wreathed merriment. The words of unbridled mouths, the thoughts of lawless folly, end in tears, while the life of calm and sanity sails a voyage tossed by no storm and holds families together. For though the heavenly gods dwell far off in the upper air, they still watch what men do. Mere cleverness is not wisdom. To think thoughts more than mortal leads to a short life. In view of this, what man would pursue greatness and fail to win what lies at hand? This is the way the mad behave, men whom I judge fools. May you come to Cyprus, Aphrodite's island, where the loves which enchant men's hearts dwell in Paphos, which the streams of the barbarian river with its 100 mouths fertilize without rain, and to the region of Pieria and all its beauty, where the muses dwell, the sacred slope of Olympus. Lead me there, Bromius, Bromius, god of the loud Bacchic worship. There are the graces, there is desire, there it is lawful for the Bacchae to hold their rites. This god, the son of Zeus, rejoices in festivities, and he loves peace, bringer of prosperity, the goddess who rears children. He gives to rich and humble an equal share in the pleasure of wine which banishes sorrow. But he hates the man to whom it means nothing, to live a blessed life to the end by day and happy night, and to keep one's heart and mind in wisdom away from haughty men. Whatever ordinary people have thought it right to live by, that I would accept. Pentheus returns. Enter a servant with guards bringing on Dionysus. Pentheus, we have come here after hunting down the quarry which you sent for us. We have fulfilled our mission, but we found this wild beast tame. He didn't sneak off in flight, but gave up his hands quite willingly. With no pallor, no change in his wine-colored complexion, he laughingly told us to tie him up and lead him away. And he waited there, making my task easy. And I felt ashamed and said, Stranger, it is not that I want to arrest you. I do it on the orders of Pentheus who sent me. Now as for the Bacchae you locked up, the ones you arrested and bound in the fetters of the public prison, they have been set loose and have gone off to the mountain glades where they skip about calling upon Bromius as a god. The bonds broke loose from their feet of their own accord, and the bolts unfastened the doors without mortal hands. This man has come here to Thebes fraught full with wonders, but it is up to you to decide what to do. Let go of his hands. Now that he is in the net, he is not so nimble that he will escape me. Well, physically you are not unhandsome, stranger, to a woman's taste at any rate, and that is why you have come to Thebes. You have long, flowing locks which prove you no wrestler. They fall right by your cheek, laden with desire, and you keep your skin deliberately white since you hunt Aphrodite with your beauty by avoiding the sun's rays and skulking in the shadows. First, tell me of what race you are. There is no need for me to hesitate over my answer. It is easily given. I suppose you know of flowery Tmolus by report? I know of it. It encircles the city of Sardis. I am from there. Lydia is my fatherland. From what source do you bring these rites to Greece? Dionysus himself initiated me, the son of Zeus. Is there a Zeus there who begets new gods? No, it is the same Zeus as the one who married Semele here. And was it in a dream or face-to-face that he laid compulsion on you? It was face-to-face, and he gave me his rituals. What form do these rituals take for you? That must not be told to the uninitiated in Bacchic worship. They must not know. What benefit do the rituals bring to the sacrificers? It is not right for you to hear, but it is worth knowing. You faked that answer skillfully to make me want to hear. The rituals of the god hate a man who practices impiety. The god? Just what was he like? Tell me, for you say now you saw him clearly. He appeared in the form he chose. I did not arrange that. Here again you have sidetracked me with fine but empty words. An ignorant man will think another's wise words folly. Was it Thebes that you came to first with your imported god? No, every one of the barbarians dances in these rituals. Well, sure, for they are much more foolish than the Greeks. In this respect they are far cleverer, for their customs are different. Do you perform your sacred rites at night or by day? Mainly by night. The night has solemnity. It tricks women and makes them corrupt. You can find immorality by daylight too. You must pay the penalty for your wicked sophistries, and you must pay for your ignorance and your impiety towards the god. How bold this Bacchae is, and not unexercised in speaking. Tell me what I must suffer. What fearful thing will you do to me? First, I shall cut off your love locks. My hair is sacred. I grow it for the god. Now give me this thyrsus from your hands. Take it from me yourself. I carry it for Dionysus. We shall guard your body inside the prison. The gods will free me whenever I wish. When you stand among the Bacchae and call him, he is close by even now, and sees what I suffer. And where is he? He is not manifest to my eye. He is where I am. In your impiety you cannot see him. Lay hold of him. He is showing contempt for me and for Thebes. I tell you not to tie me up. Sensible words to the senseless. Tie him up, I say. My authority counts here, not yours. You do not know what your life is, or what you are doing, or who you are. I am Pentheus, the son of Agave, and my father Echion. You have a name fit for sorrow. Off with you. Shut him in the stables nearby so that he can see the black darkness. Do your dancing there. As for these women, the partners in crime you have brought here with you, either we shall sell them off, or I shall put a stop to these pounding thuds of their drums and keep them as slaves of the loom. I am willing to go, for what should I not suffer, I shall not. But be sure that Dionysus will exact punishment. I am willing to go, for what I should not suffer, I shall not. But be sure that Dionysus will exact punishment for this violence. The god you say does not exist, for in wronging me you put him in chains. Dionysus taken out. Exit Pentheus. The chorus sings. Daughter of Achelios, blessed maiden, Queen Dirce, once you took in your stream Zeus's newborn child, when Zeus's father snatched him from the undying fire and hid him in his thigh with this shout, Come, Dithyrambius, come to this male womb. I reveal to you Thebes, O Bacchic god, so that she may call you by that name. But you, O blessed Dirce, drive me away as I hold my garland and companies on your bank. Why do you reject me? Why do you shun me? One day, by the joy of Dionysus' vine clusters, one day you will care about Bromius. He reveals his earth-born ancestry, Pentheus, the old dragon's brood, whom earth-begotten Echion begat, to be a wild-faced monster, not a human being, taking on the gods like a murderous giant. He will soon tie me, the slave of Bromius, in his knots, and he already holds inside his house my fellow reveler, hidden in a dark prison. Do you see this, O son of Zeus, Dionysus, your prophets, in a struggle with oppression? Come down from Olympus, Lord, brandishing your thyrsus, faced with gold, and check the violence of a murderous man. Where then on Nyssa, nurse of wild beasts, or on the Corsian peaks, O Dionysus, do you lead your companies with your thyrsus? And perhaps amid the tree-orched coverts of Olympus, where Orpheus once, with the music of his strings, brought together the trees, brought together the wild beasts, O blessed Piera, the god of ecstatic cries, reveres you. And he will come to set you dancing amid the Bacchic revelry, and will lead the whirling Meniads, crossing the swift-flowing Axios and the river Lydias, the Father who gives wealth and its blessings to mortals, and who, I have heard, enriches with his fairest waters the land of fine horses. Io, Bacchae, hear my voice, hear, Io, Bacchae. What calls are these of the god of cries which summon me? Where have they come from? Io, I cry again, I, the son of Semele, the son of Zeus. Io, master, come then to our company of Bromius. Shake the floor of the earth, sovereign spirit of earthquake. Soon the palace of Pentheus will be shaken apart and collapse. Dionysus is everywhere in the palace. Worship him. Oh, we do worship him. You saw how those stone lintels ran apart. It is Bromius, Lord of Thunder, who shouts his triumph inside the house. Kindle your thunderbolts flashing fire. Burn the house of Pentheus to nothing. To nothing. The fire on Semile's tomb flares up. Oh, can you not see the fire? Do you not perceive around this holy tomb of Semele the flame which Zeus's thunderflung bolt left here long ago? Throw your trembling bodies to the ground, Minyades, for our Lord will come upon this palace, turning it upside down. The son of Zeus. Dionysus enters from the palace. Barbarian women, have you fallen to the ground so stunned by fear? It seems that you saw the Bacchic gods shaking asunder the house of Pentheus. But lift up your bodies, take courage, and put away this trembling from your flesh. O light of our day, our leader in the ecstatic rituals, how joyful I am to see you, all alone in my isolation. Did you fall into despair when I was being taken inside, thinking that I was about to fall into the snares of Pentheus's dark dungeon? How could I fail to? Who will protect me if you meet disaster? But how were you freed from your encounter with a man of sin? I won my safety by myself, easily, effortlessly. But didn't he fasten your hands with knots of rope? That was just the way I made a fool of him. Though he thought he was tying me up, he did not touch or grasp me, but fed on my empty hopes. He found a bull by the stables where he had taken me and shut me in, and he tried to rope this up with nooses around its knees and fetlocks as he panted out his rage, dripping sweat from his body, biting his lips. I was nearby, sitting quietly and watching him. And during this time Bacchus came and levered up the house and kindled the fire on his mother's tomb. When he saw this, thinking the palace was in flames, he rushed this way and that, telling his servants to bring water. And every slave was engaged on the task, but toiled in vain. Then, thinking I had escaped, he abandoned his efforts and snatched a dark sword and darted inside the palace. And then Bromius, as it seems to me, I give my own impression, created a phantom in the courtyard. In his rage, Pentheus rushed upon this and tried to stab Bright Vapor, thinking he was killing me. On top of that, the Bacchic god piled these further indignities on him. He smashed his palace to the ground. All lies shattered. He has seen a most bitter end to my imprisonment. Dropping his sword, he has collapsed in exhaustion. A mere man, he had the hardihood to join battle with a god. I have come quietly out of the palace to you with no thoughts for Pentheus. But I think, indeed, there is the sound of tramping feet inside the palace. Then in an instant he will come out front here. Whatever will he find to say after all this? No matter, for I shall make light of him even if he comes snorting rage. A wise man should always keep a balanced and easy temper. Enter Pentheus. I have suffered terrible things. The stranger who just now was bound fast with rope has escaped me. But look, here is the man. What is going on? How can I be seeing you in front of my house? How did you get out? Stand still, put a stop to your anger and calm down. But how have you managed to escape your bonds and come out here? Did I not say, or did you not hear, that someone would free me? But who? You are forever mentioning new, unexpected things. The one who grows the rich clustered vine for men. You insult Dionysus over what is his glory. I ordered that every gate in the circle of walls should be locked. And what is the point of that? Cannot gods go over walls? You may be clever, except where you should be clever. Where I should be clever, there above all I am. Enter the messenger. But first, listen to this man who has come from the mountain to tell you something, and hear what he has to say. We shall remain here, we shall not run away. Pentheus, ruler of this Theban land, I have come here from Mount Kitherion, where the dazzling falls of white snow never melt. And what weighty message do you bring? I have seen the holy Bacchae, whose white limbs flashed away spear-swift in their madness, and I have come here wishing to tell you, in the city, my lord, that they do strange things, things that go beyond wonder. I want to hear whatever I can tell you what has happened there with complete freedom of speech. Or should I check my tongue? For I fear your speed of thought, my king, your sharp temper, and your kingly spirit. No, speak. You are in no danger of being punished by me, whatever you say. But the more strange the things you say about the Bacchae, the more severe the penalty I shall exact from this man who has corrupted the women with his wiles. The pasturing herds of cattle were just climbing onto the upland country at the time when the sun sends forth its beams to heat the world. I saw 3 companies of female dancers. Autonoe was in charge of one, your mother Agave of the second, and Ino of the third. And all of them were sleeping, their bodies relaxed, some of them leaning their backs on fir tree needles, others amid oak leaves, their heads flung down at random on the ground, chastely, and not, as you say, made drunk by the wine bowl and the music of the pipe, and slinking off on their own to hunt Aphrodite in the wood. But when your mother heard the lowings of the horned cattle, she stood up in the middle of the Bacchae and cried her Bacchic cry, to make them stir themselves from sleep. The women, casting deep slumber from their eyes, leapt upright, a marvel of good order to look upon, young women and old maidens still unwed. And first they let their hair down on their shoulders, and all those whose fawn skins binding knots had worked loose tie upon them, and girdled the dappled hides with snakes which licked their cheeks. Some of them held a roe deer or wild wolf cubs in their arms, and all the recent mothers, whose breasts were still swollen for the offspring they had abandoned, gave to these their white milk. They put on garlands of ivy of oak in a flower-clustered bryony, and one of them took her thyrsus and struck it against a rock from which the dewy wetness of water leapt forth. Another plunged her fennel rod into the earth's surface, and for her the gods spurted up a spring of wine. Then all who had felt the longing for the wine drink scraped at the ground with their fingertips and took jets of milk in their hands, and from their ivy-clad thyrsi dripped sweet streams of honey. So if you had been there and seen these things, you would have approached this god whom you now hold cheap with prayers. We herdsmen and shepherds came together to outdo each other in our accounts, and someone who had trampled the town and was a glib speaker said to us, "You men who live on the sacred upland plateaus, do you want us to hunt Agave, Pentheus's mother, from her Bacchic rites and do our king a favor?" We thought his words made good sense, and we lay in ambush, hiding ourselves in the leafy thickets. At the appointed time the women began to rouse their thyrsi for the Bacchic rites, calling in unison on Bromius, the son of Zeus, god of ecstatic cries. And all the women on the mountain and the animals joined them in their Bacchic worship. There was nothing that did not move with the running. Agave happened to be leaping near me, and I jumped out, eager to snatch hold of her, emptying the thicket where we were hiding. She shouted out, "Oh, my running hounds, we are the quarry of these men's hunt. But follow me, with your rods in your hands as weapons." So we ran away and escaped being torn to pieces by the Bacchae, while they turned against the young cows which were grazing upon the grass. They held no iron weapons in their hands. You would have seen one of them wrenching in two a full-uddered young heifer which bellowed, while others were rending, tearing mature ones apart. You would have seen ribs of a cloven hoof flung up and down. These hung under the fir trees, dripping, all fouled with blood. Bulls, which till then had been arrogant, their anger mounting into their horns, stumbled to the ground, dragged down by the countless hands of girls. Their hides were torn apart quicker than you could have closed your royal eyes. Like birds rising high, they went at a run across the lowland plains, which produced fine crops for the Thebans by the streams of Asopus. They sweep down like an enemy on the Hyceae and the Euripides, which stand in the hill country of Cytherion and its lower regions, and ransacked everything from top to bottom. They seized children from the houses, and all of these they placed on their shoulders, were held there by no bonds, yet did not fall. They carried fire on the locks of their hair, and did not burn them. Thus plundered by the Bacchae, the villagers resorted to arms in a passion of rage. Thereupon we saw a terrible sight, my lord. The villagers' pointed spears, whether tipped with bronze or iron, drew no blood, while the Bacchae shot their thyrsi from their hands and kept wounding them and making them turn and run away. Women did these things to men. A god certainly helped them. Then they went back to where they had started from, to the very springs which the god had sent up for them. They washed off the blood, and the snakes licked the drops from their cheeks, making their skin gleam. And so my master received this god, whoever he is, in this city, For he is great in other respects, and especially in this particular thing that they say of him, that, as I hear, he has given to mortals the vine that puts an end to sorrow. If wine no longer existed, then there would be no Aphrodite or any other sweet delight still left for mortals. I am frightened to speak out freely what I have to say to the king, but nevertheless it shall be said. Dionysus is inferior to none of the gods. Now, already this violent blasphemy of the Bacchae blazes up close to us like fire. It reflects great discredit on the Greeks, but it is imperative not to hesitate. Off with you, go to the Electran Gate. Order all the heavy infantry and those that ride swift-footed horses to assemble, and all who brandish light shields and pluck the bowstring with their hands, since we shall march against the Bacchae, for it is certainly beyond endurance if we are to suffer what we now suffer at the hands of women. You hear my words, Pentheus, but they make no impression on you. However, even though I suffer this bad treatment at your hands, I still tell you that you should not take up arms against a god. No, you should do nothing. Bromius will not tolerate your dislodging the Bacchae from the mountains of joy. Do not, stranger, tell me what to think. You have escaped from jail. Do you want to stay free, or shall I renew your punishment? I would pay him sacrifices rather than kick against the goad in a rage. A mere mortal taking on a god. I shall pay him sacrifices, in women's blood as they deserve. I shall shed it in rich measure in Cytherion's glens. You all will be routed, and this brings disgrace, for Bacchae to turn your shields of beaten bronze with their thrysi. I am locked together with this stranger and can find no escape from the hold. He will be silent neither when he suffers nor when he acts. Sir, it is still possible to set this matter right. And by doing what? By being a slave to my slave women? I will bring those women here without the use of weapons. No, this is some trick which he is now devising against me. How can it be a trick if I am willing to save you with my skill? You have all planned this together so that you can worship Bacchus in perpetuity. Certainly this I plan. You can be confident of that, together with the god. Bring me out weapons here, and you stop talking. Do you want to go see them sitting together on the mountain? Very much so, and I would give an infinite weight of gold for that. How is it that you have conceived so great a passion for this? I should be sorry to see them drunk. But would you nevertheless be glad to see what is bitter to you? You can be sure of that. I want to sit in silence beneath the firs. But they will hunt you even out if you go secretly. No, I shall go openly. This advice of yours is good. Should we lead you then, and will you undertake the journey? Lead me as quickly as you can. I shall hold any delay against you. Then put the fine linen cloths around your body. Why that? Am I to stop being a man and join the female sex? Yes, so that they don't kill you if you are seen there as a man. Well, this is another good piece of advice. How clever a fellow you have been all along. Dionysus gave me full instruction in this. How could your advice to me be successfully realized? I shall come inside your palace and dress you. In what clothes? Do you mean a women's dress? But I would feel shame at this. Are you no longer eager to be a spectator of the Maenads? What do you say you will fling around your body? What do you say you will fling around my body? First I shall make your hair long on your head. What is the next feature of my costume? Robes that fall to your feet, and on your head will be a headband. And will you put anything else on me in addition to those things? Yes, a thyrsus for your hand and a dappled skin of a fawn. I shan't be able to put on a woman's clothes, but you will cause bloodshed if you join battle with the Bacchae. Rightly said. First I must go raconteur. It is certainly wiser than to hunt for trouble by inflicting it. And how shall I avoid being seen by Cadmus's people as I go through the city? We shall go through empty streets, and I shall lead the way. Anything is better than that the Bacchae should laugh at me. Let us go into the house. I shall decide whatever seems best. You may, whatever you decide. For my part, I am ready and at hand. I think I shall go in. Either I shall march with arms, or I shall follow your advice. Exit Pentheus. Women, this man is walking into the casting net. He will come to the Bacchae, and there he will pay the penalty by his death. Dionysus, it is your work now. I call upon you, for you are not far away. Let us take vengeance on him. First of all, drive him out of his mind, sending dizzy madness upon him. since if he is sane, he will certainly not be willing to put on woman's clothes, while if he drives off the track of sanity, he will put them on. I want him to raise the Thebans' laughter as he is led through the city in a woman's form, after those earlier threats of his with which he inspired such terror. But I shall go to dress Pentheus in the clothes which he shall take to the underworld. When he goes there slaughtered in his mother's hands, he shall recognize Dionysus, the son of Zeus, and see that it is, by turns, a most terrifying and a most gentle god to mortals. Exit Dionysus. The chorus sings. Shall I ever in night-long dance set my white feet in the Bacchic revel, and fling my head back to the dewy air like a fawn at play, in the meadow's green joyfulness, when she escapes the fearsome hunt, leaping clear of the ring of watchers, over the close-woven nets, and the huntsman shouts to urge his dogs to speed, while she, swift as a storm, in her effortful racing, bounds over the water meadow, joying in places void of men in the green light that springs under the shadowy hair of the forest. What is wisdom, or what God-given prize is nobler in men's eyes than to hold one's hand in mastery over the head of one's enemies? What is noble is precious, that ever holds true. The power of the gods is slow to move, but surely nonetheless it corrects those men who worship senselessness and in their mad folly do not magnify the gods, who cover with elaborate devices the unhastening foot of time, and as they hunt down the man without religion. For in thought and behavior one should never go beyond traditional ways. It costs little to regard these things as having power, whatever it is that comes from God, and what has always been the tradition established by nature in long time. What is wisdom, or what God-given prize is nobler in men's eyes than to hold one's hand in mastery over the heads of one's enemies? What is noble is precious, that ever holds true. Happy the man who has escaped from a storm at sea and found harbor. Happy the man who has overcome hardships. In various ways, one man surpasses another in wealth and power, and there remain countless hopes for countless people. Some of these find fulfillment for mortals in wealth, while others vanish. The man whose life is blessed from day to day, him I count happy. Enter Dionysus. You who are eager to see what you should not, eager to seek what should not be sought, Pentheus, I say, come out in front of this house. Let me see you dressed in female get-up as a Meniad, a Bacchant, so that you can spy on your mother in her company. You look like one of Cadmus's daughters. Pentheus enters dressed as a Meniad in a wig and a long linen dress and holding a thyrsus. How strange! I think I see two suns in a double Thebes, our seven-gated city. And I think that you lead the way before me as a bull, and that horns have grown on your head. Were you perhaps a beast all the time? You have certainly been changed into a bull. It is the god who walks together with you. He was hostile before, but now he is at peace with us. Now you see what you should see. How do I look then? Do I carry myself like Ino or Agave, my mother? As I look at you, those are the very women I think I see, but this lock of your hair has slipped from its place. It isn't as tucked beneath your headband. As I shook it backwards and forwards, acting my Bacchic role inside the palace, I must have dislodged it from its place. But I, whose concern it is to be your servant, shall put it back where it should be. But hold your head upright. There, you must set me straight. I have put myself into your hands. And your girdle is loose, and the pleats of your dress do not hang evenly to below your ankle. Yes, I think so too, by my right foot at any rate, but on this side the dress is straight at the tendon. You will certainly regard me as the first of your friends when you see that the Bacchae are chaste, contrary to what you expect. Will I be more like a Bacchant if I hold the thyrsus in my right hand or in this one? You should lift it up in your right hand, and time with your right foot. I am delighted by your altered mind. Would I have the strength to carry the folds of Cytherion, Bacchae and all on my shoulders? You could if you wanted to. The way you thought before was unhealthy. Now you think as you should. Should we take along crowbars, or should I put my shoulder or arm beneath the mountain's crest and tear it up with my bare hands? You really mustn't destroy the shrines of the nymphs and the haunts of Pan where he plays his pipes. Good advice. Women are not to be conquered by brute force. I shall hide myself beneath the ferns. You will be hidden as you should be hidden when you come in secret to spy on the Maenads. Think of it, I feel that they are in the thickets, caught like mating birds in the delicious nets of love. Aren't you on a mission to guard against this very thing? Perhaps you will catch them, if you are not caught first. Escort me through the middle of the land of Thebes, for I am the lone man of them who dares this deed. You alone bear the burden for the city, you alone. That is why the destined contests lie in store for you. Follow me, I am your guide and shall bring you safely to that place. But another will take you back from there. Pentheus. Yes, my mother. For all to see. But that is why I am going. You will not return on foot. You want to pamper me? In your mother's arms. You are determined to spoil me. Yes, spoil you in my fashion. I lay hold of what I deserve. You are an amazing man, truly amazing, and you go to amazing sufferings. Through these you will find a glory that towers to heaven. Stretch out your hands, Agave and Agave's sisters too, you daughters of Cadmus. I am leading this young man to a great contest, and the winner will be Bromius and myself. Everything else the event will show. Dionysus leads Pentheus out, and the chorus sings. Oh, swift hounds of frenzy on the mountain where the daughters of Cadmus join in worship. Sting them to madness against the man who comes dressed up in a woman's costume to spy on the Maenads in his frenzy. First of all, his mother will spot him as he peers from some precipitous rock or pinnacle, and will shout out to the Maenads, Who is this who has come to the mountain? Come to the mountain. O Bacchae, tracking the mountain-running woman of Cadmus's race. What creature gave him birth? For he was not born from woman's blood, but from a lioness, he, or from the race of Libyan Gorgons. Let justice come plain for all to see. Let it come sword in hand, stabbing right through the throat, the ungodly, unlawful, unrighteous one from Acheon's earthborn breed. The man who sets forth with injustice in his mind and madness in his heart, crazily daring in his lawless rage against the Bacchic rites and your mother's worship. His aim to master the invincible by force. Death is an ungainsayable teacher of moderate opinions. To act as immortals should brings a life free from grief. I do not begrudge the wise their wisdom, but I happily pursue the other things which are great and plain to see, the things that lead life towards what is beautiful, to show holy reverence throughout the day and into the night, casting aside the customs that dwell outside justice to honor the gods. Let justice come plain for all to see. Let it come sword in hand, stabbing right through the throat, the ungodly, unlawful, unrighteous one from Acheon's earthborn breed. Appear to our sight as a bull or a manly-headed snake, or a fire-blazing lion to look upon. Come, O Bacchus, as a wild beast. With smiling face throw your deadly noose around this hunter of the Bacchae, when he has fallen beneath the Maenads' drove. Enter a messenger. O house of the old man from Sidon, who sowed the earthborn crop of the serpent snake in the ground, once you were happy in the sight of all Greece, but how I lament for you now. I am a mere slave, but even so, good slaves sympathize with their master's misfortunes. What is it? What news do you bring from the Bacchae? Pentheus, son of Echion, is dead. O Lord Bromius, you stand revealed as a great god indeed. What do you mean? Why is this, you say? Do you rejoice over the catastrophe of one who was my master? I am a foreigner, and I carry we in my barbarian song, for I cower no more in fear of prison. Do you think the men of Thebes so spilent that they will not punish you? It is Dionysus, not Thebes, but Dionysus who has power over me. I understand your attitude, except that it is not proper, woman, to exalt over horrific deeds. Speak, tell me, by what fate did the lawless man die as he pursued his lawless schemes? When we left the settlements of the Theban land and moved on from the streams of Asopus, we began to strike into the hill country of Cytharion. Pentheus and I, for I was following my master, and the stranger who led us on our way to see the sight. Well, first we sat in a grassy valley, keeping silent every movement of foot, and tongue so that we could see without being seen. There was a ravine shut in by cliffs, refreshed by waters, and thick shaded with pines where the Minyades sat, their hands occupied in delightful tasks. Some of them were restoring what had been a thyrsus by wreathing it again with locks of ivy, while others were singing songs to each other in antiphony, like fillies released from the patterned yoke. But the wretched Pentheus did not spot the crowd of women and said this: "Stranger, where we are standing, my eyes cannot reach the Minyades in their diseased frenzy. But if I climbed up a towering fir tree on the banks of the ravine, I could see their foul antics properly." What followed next was that I saw the stranger do astonishing things. Laying hold of the topmost heaven-piercing branch of a fir, he pulled it down, down, down to the black ground. And it was bent like a bow or a rounded wheel when its curving outline is traced by a string fixed to a peg. Thus the stranger pulled the mountain tree with his hands and bent it to the ground. This was no mortal action that he performed. And seating Pentheus on the fir branches, he began to let the tree go upright smoothly, moving hand over hand and taking care not to unseat him. And it towered sheer to the sheer heaven, with my master sitting on its back. But rather than seeing the Minyades, he was seen by them, for he was just becoming visible as he sat high. The stranger could no longer be seen, and a voice from the sky, it was Dionysus as I guessed, shouted out, "You, young women, I bring the man who makes fun of you, and of me, and of my rites, but take vengeance on him." And as the voice said these things, a blaze of awful fire flashed between heaven and earth. The sky fell silent, the wooded glade held its leaves in stillness, and you could not have heard any wild beast cry. The Bacchae, their ears failing to take in the sound clearly, stood upright and darted their eyes about them. But he gave them his command a second time, and when the daughters of Cadmus plainly understood the Bacchic god's orders, they shot forth with all the speed of a wooden pigeon. Moving fast and intensely, the mother Agave and her sisters, and all the Bacchae with them, and they leapt through the ravine with its swollen torrent over the broken cliffs, frantic with the god's breath upon them. And when they saw my master sitting on the fir tree, they first climbed onto a rock which towered opposite, and tried to pelt him with a powerful volley of stones, and they shot fir branches at him like javelins, while others hurled their thyrsi through the air at Pentheus. It was a grisly shooting exercise, but they did not reach their target, for the pitiable man sat high, beyond the reach of their fanaticism. But he was trapped. There was no escape. In the end, they used their oak branches as levers on the roots of the fir and tried to tear it up with their crowbars not of iron. But when they failed to bring this labor to fulfillment, Agave spoke, "Come, stand round in a circle and take hold of the trunk, Minyades, so that we can capture this climbing beast and stop him reporting the secret dances of the gods." They set their innumerable hands on the fir and tore it up from the ground. Perched on high, he hurled from his high seat down to the ground, and as he fell, he poured out innumerable cries of sorrow, Pentheus the sorrowful, for he was learning that he was close to disaster. His mother, as priestess, was the first to begin the slaughter, and she fell upon him. But he flung the band from his head so that the wretched Agave could recognize him and not kill him, and he touched her cheek, saying, "It is me, mother, your son, Pentheus, whom you bore in the house of Ixion. O mother, pity me, and do not kill me for what I have done wrong. I am your son." But Agave, frothing foam and whirling her twisted eyes, was far from sanity. The Bacchic god held her possessed, and she paid no heed to Pentheus. She seized his left arm in her hands, set her foot on the wretched man's ribs, and tore out his shoulder, not through her own strength. It was the god who made her handiwork easy. And Ino wrenched his flesh apart as she performed the same action on the other side, and Autone and the whole crowd of Bacchae went at it. Everyone shouted together, Pentheus groaning as long as he went on breathing, the women yelling their cries of triumph at the sacrifice. One of them carried an arm, another a foot still in its shoe. His ribs were laid bare as they tore him apart, and with their bloody hands they all played ball with Pentheus's flesh. The body lies in scattered fragments, one bit beneath the jagged rocks, another in the wood's thick foliage. To find it all is no easy task. As for his wretched head, which, as it has happened, his mother took up in her hands, She has fixed it on the top of her rod and is carrying it across Cytherion for all to see, as if it were the head of a mountain lion. She has left her sisters behind amid the dancing Maenads, and she comes here into our walled city, exulting in her ill-fated hunt, and calling upon the Bacchic god, her fellow hunter, her partner in the chase, and the splendid victor whose victory prize for her is tears. And she comes here into our walled city, exulting in her ill-fated hunt, calling upon the Bacchic god, her fellow hunter, her partner in the chase, the splendid victor whose victory prize for her is tears. Well, I shall take myself out of the way of this tragedy before Agave comes to the house. Moderation and piety towards the god, those are the noblest ends, and I think that mortals who practice them possess the truest wisdom. The messenger goes out. The chorus sings. Let us dance in praise of the Bacchic god. In his praise let us shout aloud the doom of Pentheus, the serpent's offspring, who put on female attire and took up the sheer fennel rod, the weapon of death, as his splendid fennel rod, having a bull to lead him to disaster. You Bacchae, daughters of Cadmus, you have sung a famous victory song, but it ends in groans and tears. This is a noble conquest, to plunge a dripping hand in the blood of one's child. But look, I see Agave, Pentheus' mother, rushing to the palace, her eyes rolling. Welcome her to the revel of the god of ecstatic cries. Enter Agave, carrying the head of Pentheus. Asian Bacchae, why do you address me, lady? We bring from the mountain to the palace this new-cut tendril, our blessed prey. I see it and shall receive you into our revel band. I caught the young cub without nets or snares, as you can see. From where in the wilderness? Cytherion. Cytherion? Slaughtered him. Who was it that struck him? That privilege was first mine. I am called Agave, the blessed in the companies. Who else struck him? It was Cadmus. Cadmus, whose children laid their hands on this wild beast. But after me, yes, it was a happy hunt, to so join in the feast. Why should I join you, poor creature? The calf is young, his cheeks just crowning downy beneath his crest of soft hair. Yes, by the hair it looks like a beast of the wild. Bacchus, the clever huntsman, cleverly set his Maenads upon this beast. Yes, our Lord is a hunter. Do you give praise? I do. And soon the people of Cadmus, and indeed your son Pentheus, will praise his mother for catching this quarry of a lion's brood. A strange quarry, and strangely caught. And you, are you exultant? I rejoice, for I have done great and manifest things in this hunt. Then, wretched woman, show the citizens the prey you have carried here, your prize of victory. O you who dwell in this fair-towered city of the land of Thebes, come to see this wild beast, the prey which we, daughters of Cadmus, have caught in our hunt, not with the Thessalians' thonged javelins or with nets, but with our white arms and hands. After that, why should one throw the javelin and get hold of the armorer's handiwork? There's no need. It was with our hands and nothing else that we caught this beast and tore its limbs all in pieces. Where is my father, the old man? Let him come near. And where is Pentheus, my son? Let him take ladders with solid steps and raise them against the house so that he can nail to its entablature the lion's head, which I have brought here from the hunt. Enter Cadmus with attendants carrying the remains of Pentheus on a pyre. Follow me, carrying the lamentable weight of Pentheus. Follow me, my attendants, in front of the house. I sought for his body with endless effort and bring it here. I found it torn to pieces in the glens of Cytherion, and picked up nothing in the same spot. For I have heard from someone of the dreadful deeds of my daughters. When I arrived first in this city, I had come inside its walls with the old man Tiresias on return from the Bacchae. I turned back again to the mountain and started to recover this boy, whom the Maenads killed. And I saw Autone, who bore a Sation to Aristeus long ago, and Ino together with her, both poor women still sung with frenzy among the woods. But someone told me that the third Agave was rushing here in a Bacchic trance, and what I heard proves to be true, for I see her, and a tragic sight. Father, you can boast the greatest boast, that you of all mortals had fathered the best daughters by far. I am talking of them all, but especially myself. I abandoned the shuttles by the loom and have risen to greater things, to hunting wild beasts with my bare hands. I have won this prize for excellence and carry it, as you see, in my arms so that it can be hung up on your house. Take it in your hands, Father, and in your exultation at my hunting call your friends to a feast. For you are blessed, truly blessed, since we have performed such exploits. O sorrow that knows no measure, from which the eyes flinch, O deed of murder, the exploit of your unhappy hands. A fine sacrificial offering to the gods have you struck down, and now you invite this city of Thebes and myself to a feast. But I cry alas for your woes and for mine, for the god Lord Bromius has destroyed us justly, but all too well, and he is of our family. How curmudgeonly old men are, how their eyes scowl. If only my boy could prove a lucky hunter, like his mother in her ways, whenever he goes after the wild beasts with the young men of Thebes. But he is only good for fighting against the gods. You must warn him about this, Father. Would someone call him here to my sight so that he can see me, Agave the Blessed? Alas, if all you realize what you have done, you will suffer terrible grief. But if you stay forever in this state you are now, you may not be fortunate, but you will escape misfortune in your illusion. What is wrong? What has happened? What cause of grief is there? First, turn your eyes to the sky. There. Why do you suggest that I should look at this? Is it still the same, or do you think that it is changing? It seems brighter than before and more translucent. And is this fluttering sensation still present in your head? I don't understand what you mean, but somehow I'm coming back to myself. Something has changed in my mind. Will you listen and answer clearly now? Yes, since I have forgotten what we said before, Father. What house did you go to when you married? You gave me to Echion, the sown man, as they call him. So who was the son you bore to your husband in his house? Why, Pentheus, the fruit of his fathers and my love. Well then, whose face are you holding in your arms? A lion's, or so the huntswoman told me. No, look properly then. It is only a moment's effort. But what is this I see? What is this that I am carrying in my hands? Look at it closely and you will reach a clearer understanding. I see a sight that brings me infinite pain and misery. It doesn't seem to you to be like a lion, does it? No, but I'm holding the head of Pentheus. I mourned him before you recognized him. Who killed him? How did he come into my hands? Oh, agonizing truth, how untimely your discovery. Tell me now, for my heart leaps with fear of what is to come. You killed him, together with your sisters. Where did he die? Was it at home, or in what place? It was just where the dogs once tore Actaeon to shreds. Why did this unhappy man go to Cytherion? He went there to insult the god and your Bacchae. And how did we rush him off there? You all were mad, and the whole city had been driven into a Bacchic frenzy. Then it is Dionysus who has destroyed us. Now I realize this. His divinity had been outraged. You did not believe that he was a god. And where is my son's beloved body, Father? I tracked it down with difficulty and bring it here. Is every limb laid decently by limb? What part of my madness fell upon Pentheus? He proved himself like you in showing the god no reverence, and therefore Dionysus joined you all together in one ruin, you and this son of yours. And so he has destroyed the house and me, for I, who fathered no male children myself, now see this young shoot of your womb, you poor woman, so foully, so shamefully slaughtered. It was through you, my child, that the house recovered its sight. It was you who held my halls together, you, my daughter's son. You struck terror into the city, and no one, when he looked on you, wanted to insult old Cadmus, for you would give due punishment. But now I shall be a dishonored exile from this house, I, Cadmus the Great, who sowed the Theban's race and reaped that most noble of harvests. O dearest of men, for though you no longer exist, you will still be numbered among the dearest to me, my child. No longer will you touch this chin of mine and embrace me, calling me your mother's father, and saying, 'Who does you wrong, who dishonors you, old man? Who troubles your heart and brings you distress?' Tell me so that I can punish the man who wrongs you, my father. But now I am wretched, and you are miserable, and your mother is pitiable, and your family miserable. Is there any man who scorns the deities? Let him look on this man's death and believe in the gods. I grieve for you, Cadmus, but your grandson has met a punishment which he deserved, however painful it is for you. O father, you see how much fortunes have changed." Dionysus appears above the house. "You will be transformed into a snake, and your wife Harmonia, the daughter of Ares, whom you, a mortal, took in marriage, will change her form to that of a savage serpent. And as the oracle of Zeus says, you will drive an ox cart with your wife at the head of barbarians, and you will destroy many cities with your numberless army. But when they ransack the oracle of Loxias, they will meet with a miserable return home. But as for you and Harmonia, Ares will save you and settle you living in the land of the blessed. I, Dionysus, tell you this, the son of no mortal father, but of Zeus. If you had known how to be wise when you were unwilling, you would now have the son of Zeus as your ally and be happy. Dionysus, we beseech you, we have wronged you. You have understood me too late. You did not know me when you should have. We realize that, but you have come down on us with too heavy a punishment. Yes, for I, God, was treated with outrage by you. It is not fitting that gods should be like mortals in their rage. My father Zeus long ago assented to these things. Then it is settled, old man, a miserable exile. Then why do you delay to perform what necessity decrees? Dionysus disappears. Oh, my daughter, we have all come to disaster. How terrible the disaster! You, wretched Agave, and your sisters, and my wretched self. I shall arrive among foreigners, an ancient alien, and besides there is an oracle which tells me that I must lead an army of mixed barbarians to Greece. And I shall take Harmonia, my wife, the daughter of Ares, when she has assumed her wild snake's form, to the altars and graves of the Greeks as I lead my spearmen. A snake myself, I, Cadmus, poor wretch, shall not sail the downward plunging river Acheron and find peace. My father, I shall lose you and go into exile. But why do you fling your arms around me, my wretched child, as a young swan shelters the old one, hoary and helpless? I must. Where can I turn to my exile from my fatherland? I do not know, my child. Your father is little help. Farewell, our palace. Farewell, city of my fathers. I leave you for misery, a fugitive from my bridal chamber. Go then, child, Aristeus' son. I grieve for you, father, and I grieve for you, my child, and I shed these tears for your sisters. Yes, for terribly has Lord Dionysus visited his brutality upon your house. For he suffered terrible things from us, since his name found no honor in Thebes. Farewell, my father. Farewell, wretched daughter. And to find fair fortune would be a hard journey indeed. Take me, friends, where I can find my sisters, my miserable fellows in exile. May I go where accursed Cythereon cannot see me, nor can I see Cythereon with these eyes, where no dedicated thyrsus can bring me memories, all that must be the concern of other Bacchae. Cadmus and Agave go out in different directions. The chorus sings. The divine will manifests itself in many forms, and the gods bring many things to pass against our expectations. What we thought would happen remains unfulfilled, while the God has found a way to accomplish the unexpected. And that is what has happened here. The end.